Assalamu alaikum, dear students. We are here again for online class of fermentation and its industrial application. Lecture number 22, fermented foods. If you will recall your previous memories and previous lectures where we have discussed optimization of conditions, upstreaming, downstreaming, and recovery of products, polishing of products, marketing of products, and one example we have discussed. Now we have to go throughout our uh, globe which type of fermentation industry is working. There are several types of fermentation industries are working on the globe and contributing in human uh, services as well as contributing on economical on economy of the national GDP and economy of the nation and in various sectors, and it has developed up a huge sector of industry where people are earning, jobs are there, and people are using prepared food. Many things are there. Okay, let me have to see through a slide. Yes, here we want to see the fermented foods. Food industry, if you will go back through history, uh, in a couple of centuries before, there was no food industry on the globe. Little bit maybe, but we don't know very well. Normally, people were working on traditional basis. They were fermenting their food. But due to increasing population and its burden and its pressure on food, it given a chance to become a food industry. Have to produce an industry, introduce variety of foods in market for public consumption and for public use. Therefore, what has been done? If you will see throughout globe, throughout world, we can see there are many and several industries are there which are preparing new type of food according to the requirement of the people and public. And most of these foods are produced in industry through fermentation. So fermentation have a huge scope in market. Fermentation is the thing which is providing job opportunities, new business venues, and new jobs, and new income sources, and new work domains. It has, and this scenario or this phenomena, production of food through fermentation in industries for public, uh, is not a very old story. It has been introduced in a couple of centuries in 1900 and 2008. In this in modern era, it is not too much old. Before this fermentation was there, it was working on that can be known as classical fermentation. So we will see here something fermented foods, foods that have been subjected to the action of microorganisms or enzymes in order to bring about a desirable change. We are using some microorganisms. We are introducing some microorganisms in already available food stuff to change its flavor and aroma by means of microbial enzymes. It is called fermented. Numerous food products owe their production and characteristics to the fermentative activities of the microorganism. So here we can see that two domains are there. One, microbial importance. Okay. Second, microbes has been used for fermentation. They produced new type of food that given a chance to grow up a huge and large industrial scale, and which provided opportunity of jobs, income, and many things. Fermented foods originated many thousands of years ago when presumably microorganisms contaminated the earth. But people were not aware about the microorganism at the time that who fermented this thing. But It was a practice that then they were keeping food material in certain conditions that was going to be changed with specific flavor. Actually, microbes were working over there, but people were not know about this. Fermented foods, microorganisms cause change in the food which help to preserve it. First thing, it's very important when we are adding microorganism in food stuff that change the flavor and structure of the food and that helps to preserve the food. It changes the pH of that food material and it becomes safe for longer time in market. What happens due to that? Extended shelf life considerably over that of the raw material from which they are made. Fermented foods have longer shelf life compared to their raw material, so it is another advantage. Improve aroma and flavor characteristics. People like aesthetic and people like different aromas and flavors, and it is developed by means of the microorganism. Increase its vitamin content or its digestibility compared to the raw material. When we are fermenting food, when we are using fermented foods that increase vitamin content, increase digestibility compared to the raw materials. And one thing I will add here more, when food is fermented by means of microorganisms, okay, microorganisms are living over there. Those microorganisms are working as probiotics, just such as yogurt. If you will go in history and origin of some fermented foods, food, approximate year of the introduction and region, mushrooms has been produced by fermentation 4000 years BC from China. Soya sauce 3000 BC from China, Korea, and Japan. Wine again 3000 years BC. North Africa and Europe. Fermented milk 3000 BC, Middle East. Cheese 200,000 BC from Middle East. And we will see different food stuffs has been initiated throughout globe. And here if you will see, we can see that in most of the things, China and Middle East are on top. South Asia, North Africa, China, Europe, China, Korea, and Middle East. These regions, these have written its history, uh, more written history compared to other regions of the globe. So these people produced these things. So fermentation was going on over there throughout life, but people were not know about the microorganism that which is responsible, who is converting this thing into another food stuff or good food stuff which have comparatively good shelf life, but it was traditionally our there. Fermented foods. The term biological ennoblement has been used to describe the nutritional benefits of fermented foods. Ennoblement. Biological ennoblement has been used to describe the nutritional benefits of fermented foods. Fermented foods comprises about one third of the worldwide consumption of food and 20 to 40% by weight of the individual diet. So fermented foods are used throughout globe and it have its own share and component. By weight, if you will see, every individual uses 20 to 40% by weight. And one third of the total raw material are other foods. One third of the other food is fermented food. So it have a huge sector throughout globe. Here we can see worldwide production of some fermented foods. Cheese, it is produced almost 15 million. Yogurt produced almost 3 million worldwide. Mushrooms produced 1.5 million. Fish sauce, 300,000 million tons. And dried stockfish to 50,000 tons. Beverage, if you will see beverage beer, 100 million and 350 million wine. So fermentation industry have a huge sector on food industry. So as a microbiology, we can optimize and we can play central and vital role in fermentation industry because other people cannot know, don't know the behavior and characteristic of the microorganisms which are responsible to convert raw material into fermented food. But microbiology person now how to isolate microorganisms from environment, how to optimize microorganisms, and how to increase the yield of product by microorganisms, which type of microorganisms can be used for which type of product. So if you will see here, the person of microbiology have vital and important and central role in fermentation industry. Individual consumption of some fermented foods average per person per year. Beer in Germany, every individual uses 130 liter. Wine, Italy, Portugal, and Argentina, 790 to 70. Yogurt, Finland, 40. Kimchi in kg, Korea, 22 kg per year. Every individual uses. And similarly, if you will see these miso, cheese, and soya sauce, every individual is using in huge quantity. So fermented foods cause a huge sector in market, a huge portion in market. Benefits of fermented foods. Okay, if we will see that and for microbes which are fermenting the food material, raw material into desirable and into another forms, that given one benefit is that it given a chance to grow a huge industry throughout the globe, which given many chances to the people, job opportunities, new variety of food, and has reduced the pressure of food on agricultural and increased the new type and new shapes of the food for the consumers. One benefit is this economical importance. And another thing is uh, medical benefits, maybe benefit. Another benefit of microorganism in fermentation. Number one, due to fermentation, we are preserving the food material. So milk and most material and yogurt, cheese, when these are fermented, these are preserved now. These further not will be changed into further products. Enhance due to this, what happens? Enhance of the food safety, enhancement of the food safety. It increases the safety of the food. How microbes decompose the carbohydrates because most of the raw materials and foodstuffs are containing carbohydrates that produce the acid and alcohol production. So what happens from especially in fruits, in barley, in grapes, uh, vinegar, beer, and wine. So these are safe. These not will be changed further. Vinegar, beer, and wine, which has been produced from these raw materials, Now these can live in market for longer time compared to these raw materials or feedstocks. Production of bacteriocins, removal of toxic components from meat, from cassava and soybean. These are made from this. What bacteriocins and toxic compounds are produced by using meat and these things by means of microorganisms, which makes salami, Dari Flavio and others and soya sauce. These foodstuffs, these have comparatively more and long life compared to their raw materials. So this enhance the its shelf life. Enhancement of the nutritional value. When we are adding microorganisms and fermenting raw materials and foods by means of microorganisms, they will improve the nutritional value of that food, improve digestibility. Wheat and bread. From wheat we are making bread, but digestibility after fermentation will be increased. Retention of micronutrients, leafy and veggies, kimchi and sauerkraut, these are retaining the nutrients. Nutrients will not lost. Increased fiber content because uh, readily available sugars are converted into acid and alcohol, and fiber content will increase such as nata cocoa and this. Improvement of flavor. Wait a moment. Also will improve the flavor. Coffee beans and grapes, coffee and wine. So what happens? What we want to say over here? We want to say that when during fermentation, when we are using microorganisms to the raw material of food to convert into its fermented food, so it enhances the value of the food. Number one, increases its shelf life. Number two, make it safer for longer time, increases its nutritional potential, as well as it improves the flavor of the uh, fermented food or product. So examples, so, so examples of fermented foods we will discuss in our next class, and I hope you will understand the importance of the fermentation and the role of microorganism in fermentation and additional benefits of fermentation for the survivability and the safety of the food. It is nutritional value, it is medicinal value, it is aesthetically acceptable foods and many types. Thank you. Have a nice time, please.